What's up, gang? Welcome to Room and Board. My name is Chris George, and today we are taking a look at a preview review of the game Letter Drop, which is coming to Kickstarter in Q4 of 2021. Just look at it in all its 80s box art glory, or maybe even 50s. I don't know. But don't let the art fool you. This is a delightfully relevant design and a wonderful addition to the family game genre. Even for me, someone who doesn't put family games as their highest priority. It's Connect 4 meets Scrabble, and I can't believe nobody's ever thought to do this before. Let's check it out. Now, just looking at the box, I imagine all of you think you know how to play. And you'd be right. There's a couple of rules that you don't know, but for the most part, you'll take turns dropping in a letter tile, and if that tile forms a word that's at least 3 letters long, you get to score the points. You'll always have a hand of 5 letters, which, although you may want to put into the great tray in front of you, you'll soon realize that the board has holes in it, and you're giving away your every move to your opponent, so I ended up placing them below this lip for maximum security. Each player has 21 letters to fill the 42 spots on the board, which means if you remember your alphabet letters from alphabet class, the two of you will have different letters, which adds a great element of strategy. There's also the classic Scrabble-inspired double letter or double word score, which are handled in a really cool way. If you manage to make a 3-letter word comprised of only your color, the last letter you drop in scores double, and you get double the points. 4 letters of your color, that's a double word score. 5 letters of your color, that's the elusive triple word score and probably the win as well. Now, even from looking at the box, with that little description, you probably already know if you're going to like the game or not. If you hate word games, well, I don't think you'll enjoy this word game. If you just hate Scrabble, well, you might like it. I had a definite expectation before I played. I thought I knew exactly what it would feel like. Connect 4 meets Scrabble. I was already writing the review in my head. I was like, yeah, this is pretty solid. I thought it would be a fine way to pass the time. And so I anticipated enjoying it. But I didn't anticipate enjoying it as much as I did. There's something to be said for the level of innovation to create a product that feels like it already exists. And sure, that's in part because it builds off of 2 products that have become fairly recognizable bits of pop culture over the years. You'd be hard-pressed to find someone who wouldn't recognize Scrabble or Connect 4 just by their boards and not even their respective boxes. But that's what set my expectation. That was my baseline going in. It's the little specificities that elevate the experience. The game has a chart that tells you exactly the breakdown of letters that each player will eventually have access to. And that leads up to some pretty strategic moments. If your opponents already used their E, you can set up words that exclusively need an E to be finished. So they either have to block you, wasting one of their tiles in their turns, or let you score those points. It can make the end game pretty fun as well. When you're down to your last 5 letters, you should know exactly what's in the other person's hand. And then you can try to force them into giving you an opening for a word. My favorite moment of this was in one of my tightest games. I was slightly ahead, was coming down to the last moves of the game, and I had to put an L in one of 2 places because my opponent set it up that way. And at the last moment, I realized I was falling into a trap and almost enabling her to spell the word fly, which would have won the game. And I was able to change my decision at the last moment. It was a lovely, fun moment and emphasizes the higher level of strategy and forethought that you can have in this game, and that I certainly wasn't prepared for it to bring. The double and triple words are also a great addition, and when that sneaky diagonal triple word score comes to fruition, it feels so cool, regardless of if it was your word or not. But maybe that's just me, because I really enjoy word games and the cleverness that can come from them. But I'd say most of the people who I play this with aren't actively word game fans, and their responses range from, yeah, it's all right, I'd definitely play again, on the low end, to this is really cool, I quite enjoy it, on the higher end. 2 of these players are teachers, actually, which is worth noting. One of them in early childhood education, and the other who teaches, I think, 11-year-olds, and both of them said that they would love to have a game like this in their classrooms. And I agree. It is, at its heart, great family fun. The box time says 20 minutes, and I think if you're playing casually, this could be pretty accurate. Every player who I played with is fairly competitive, and we took a long time agonizing over which letter to drop, so it took us closer to 30 and 40. The current rules are fairly decent to understand, not that you really need them. Even if there's too much time devoted to explaining how to pick the first player, and no time spent defining that forming a word means any word in a straight line, diagonals included, but not in a jumble like Boggle. It's implied, but it's not overtly specified, and it's only through an intrinsic knowledge of its predecessors that I was able to know how to play. Which isn't great, considering it should stand alone and not assume prior knowledge, but again, this is a prototype, and it really didn't impact my experience. Now, the component quality is actually a lot nicer than I expected, with the letter discs being made out of thin wood instead of the plastic I was anticipating. My worry is this may impact the longevity of the game if you're playing with young children and they're not careful with them. The paint or the wood could chip because they're not delicate, but almost delicate, if that makes sense. I also wish that the holes to the bag were a little bit wider because I had a bit of trouble mixing and drawing the tiles, and my hands aren't small, but they're not gigantic either. And I also wish the tray was a little bit deeper as well, because when you go to reset the game, it has a little bit of trouble all fitting into one side of the tray, and you kind of have to fiddle with it a bit awkwardly. But these are minor sort of issues. One thing I do want to mention, and you can see that this is a day or two after I filmed the rest of the portion of this video, is that my friend Yaz was over and I'd played it with him before and he wanted to play it again because he enjoyed it so much, which is great to note that people want to come back to this game. But I noticed that the board itself that you drop the letters into starting to come apart a little bit. And while this isn't a huge issue for me right now, and it would be pretty easy probably to just put a little dab of super glue or something on it to fix it up, it is worth mentioning that it was in shrink wrap when I got it, and it's already showing sort of signs of deterioration. Again, this is a prototype, so I'm sure it'll be looked at the production stage, but I feel like I wouldn't be doing my due diligence to you if I didn't note it. So I'll put a picture of that up. You can see how it's kind of coming apart a little bit, and it should be stuck together. The other side is fine, but that side is starting to come apart. If you flip it the other way, because you can flip that side up or that side down, it would probably be okay. But something worth noting, and hopefully the publishers will take a look at that before they move into mass production. In terms of the gameplay, I also think whoever goes last has a pretty significant advantage. Although win percentage-wise, it was about 60-40. Plus, this isn't going to matter at the family level, but often the last player can set up an unblockable word just right at the top of the game board. And just like mathematically in Connect 4, whoever goes first is guaranteed to win if you know how to do it. Mathematically, the last player will always be able to put letters into that top row first, if they set it up properly. This also didn't impact my enjoyment of it, maybe because it was usually me who was using this trick, but it is worth noting. I also think this is why, even if you're picking the first player randomly, if you're playing multiple games and switching colors after each game so that everyone gets a chance to use all the letters, the first player should remain consistent with that color for however many games you end up playing. The game suggests playing until a player wins 2 games in a row, but we found we were usually content with just 2 games, irrespective of if someone won them both or not. And I don't really see many people playing with that as a hard and fast rule, but it's nice that they exist to definitively determine a winner. This also says it's a 2 to 4 player game, but it's not. It's a 2-player game. This is more of a 2-player game than Six Siege, and you all know how I felt about that. I assume the 2 to 4 players is only in here so that younger children who want to have a parent on their team to help them spell feel like it's okay and it's allowed within the confines of the game, and not as an actual recommendation of the optimal way to play. So if Connect 4 or Scrabble bring you any sort of nostalgic joy, I think this is a no-brainer. If you love light word games, also a no-brainer. If you own a cottage, since it already comes complete with a box that looks as though it's been at the back of a closet for years, an unearthed childhood relic just waiting to be discovered, then that might also be a no-brainer to back. The bottom line, Letter Drop provides a surprisingly strategic twist to a classic formula, and it's something you already know if you'll enjoy or not. Even still, it should manage to pleasantly exceed those expectations and is an excellent addition to the word game category. I personally am pleasantly surprised with my letter drop experience, and I will be sorry to see it off to the next reviewer and just as happy to receive a complimentary copy from Cutlass Games. But with all the talk of bias in reviews lately, let me assure you that my receiving this for free hasn't colored my opinion at all. My enthusiasm stems at my surprise at how much more interesting a game it is than both my initial impressions and the box art suggest. So I hope you feel like this in-depth look is helpful in determining whether or not you want to pick it up, and that it didn't feel like an infomercial. Because this wasn't an infomercial. Well, this would be an infomercial. Are you tired of games that take hours to set up? Tired of the same old conversations day after day? Then try Letter Drop. Letter Drop turns those gloomy Sundays into fun days. It's simple. Drop the letters into our patent-pending horizontal fun vector and watch the words whiz by. Unlike my dad, Letter Drop helps me with my homework and makes spelling fun. Thanks, Letter Drop. Letter Drop saved my marriage. And it's not so bad in the bedroom either. Honey, what are you doing in here? You said you wouldn't be home till later. Come here, you son of a... But wait, there's more. Order now and get 2.5 cans of alphabet soup free with your purchase. How many more letters could you want? Letter Drop's the only game I'll ever play. Call right now. Operators are standing by to make you feel like a millionaire. So try Letter Drop today. It's great family fun. Letter Drop is not responsible for anything that happens to your family. Purchase at your own risk. Side effects include divorce, nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and great spelling. Product has a mind of its own and may claim your family for itself. Family sold separately, not available in stores. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel grow and will enable me to get more and more prototypes to review for you all. I appreciate you all immensely. Until next time, my name's Chris George, and I don't have a catchphrase, but all I know is I'm legally married to Letter Drop. Bye!